What's up, dudes and dudettes? You're probably like, oh man, Garden Sound, why are you doing the show in your living room? Well, the answer is because some of y'all were getting tired of the old angle in the, in the studio. So here we are in a different setting. Hope you're fine. So I'm gonna read you some questions that y'all asked from YouTube, and I'm gonna answer them best I can. Oh man, I wish I had my coffee. Coffee get. Alright, I'm picking these totally at random. Who's your favorite artist that motivated you to make music and love music? Two of them. One of them would be Ben Gibbard, that is the lead singer from Death Cab for Cutie. The second artist would be Trent Reznor of 9 Inch Nails. It really amazes me how much emotion he's able to slam into a piece of music without it seeming cheesy or corny. So that's my compliment to Trent Reznor. Also, hey Trent Reznor, if you're listening, I would love to collaborate with you. Oh, here's a good one. Do you hate Apple? And if so, why? Was there some sort of bad experience or just a preference for Windows or something else? Listen, I don't hate Apple. I just don't like Apple's ethos. To quote Jim Jeffries here, it's not that I think Apple is dumb, it's that I don't like bullshit arguments and lies. The only argument for owning a Mac product is, I like the way it looks. That's it. That's your only argument. There's no other argument for a Mac product other than that. They're constantly releasing new products and they're constantly making their old products obsolete. It's called planned obsolescence. Most recent battery scandal where they slow down the old phones so they don't waste their batteries. I mean, it's just, they pretend like they're in it for the consumer, like they really want to make a good product for the consumer, but really they're just every other corporation and they're in it for the money, and they try to act like they're not, which is just dishonest and stupid. So I also think Steve Jobs was a fucking asshole. Everybody's like, oh, he's a genius. Well, I mean, even geniuses can be total dickheads. So everybody's like, oh, Steve Jobs is such a great man. It's like, no, Gandhi was a great person. Steve Jobs was not a great person. That's all I have to say about that. You can build a much better PC for half the cost of what it would cost you to spec out anything from Apple. This is gonna piss off a lot of people who are like, iPhone users who are like, well, I just buy it because the phone's easy. Well, you know what? This phone right here, this right here is a Huawei Honor 6X. It is faster, thinner, and the battery lasts longer than any iPhone I've ever seen, and it was $200. So, all you guys that are like, Apple at this point is no different than wearing Supreme. It's just a brand, it's just a label, and you're doing it to show off. And like, full disclosure, I used to own Apple products, so it's not like I can sit here and be blameless. It's just that I woke up and realized that, oh, there's better alternatives out there that are more frugal, more cost effective, and give you more for your money, just better value in general. So there's that. How do you get started with music production? What software did you start with, and what would you recommend for a complete beginner? I got started with Fruity Loops. I think it was FL5, and I would recommend getting started with Fruity Loops or something even easier like GarageBand, just to learn the basics of a DAW. I'm gonna finish high school in a year and a half. Do you think taking a 1 or 2 year break from school to concentrate on music and possibly YouTube would be a good idea? I don't want to tell you to not go to school. If you're about to go to college for music, change and go with a different major. Don't go to school for music. But if you're asking me whether or not you should take a break before pursuing some sort of a degree that could lead to a career that isn't music, no. I mean, don't take a year or two off. All my people I know who took a year or two off, they haven't really gone anywhere. So, Anorak here. How come Techno is still not in Coffee Time's title? I'm sorry, I'll put it in there. You're right. What is your opinion on type beat producers, and do you have any tips on the beat selling hustle? I don't know what that is. I feel really naive. What is that? What's a type beat? Is that like when you type on the keyboard and you make a beat? How much water do you drink a day? Also, what kind of music did you like as a kid? I drink probably between 3 and 4 liters of water a day. Basically, I only drink water and coffee. Those are my only 2 beverages. And speaking of coffee, I'm gonna go get and just drink. What kind of music did you like as a kid? Linkin Park. Oh my god. Linkin Park and like drum and bass. Like, I was really into Pendulum and The Prodigy and I was really into, what's the name of that band? Chumbawamba, which didn't really have any popularity in the US. If you've never heard Chumbawamba, you don't know what I'm talking about. You've probably heard Tub Thumpin'. It's that song where it's like, I get knocked down. Go listen to the rest of that album, it's good. Are you planning on doing more Recompose? Yes. Recompose has become how to make. So if you're thinking to yourself, I haven't seen the word recomposed in a title lately, that's because I haven't been using that word because it's not very searchable. So if you want to see my how to make videos, they're the same thing. And the answer is, yeah, I'm going to continue to do it. It's definitely my most popular thing. I'm just not going to be doing it as frequently. When you get popular, is Coffee Time Live going to end? No, Coffee Time Live is here to stay. It's like my favorite thing we do. How do I stay motivated? I don't know if you can help, but I'd love to know from someone who has experience. Wow, I can't read. Let me try that again. My lack of confidence gets me down all the time. I want to know how to keep my head up and keep going. That's a very hard thing to do. It's hard for me to stay motivated sometimes. My best answer for that would be, know that what you do, regardless of whether or not anybody hears it, has value. Because if you pursue a reward, you will always ultimately be disappointed. If you pursue to push your creative limits, if you pursue the fact that you're doing, you will never be disappointed. So stick to understanding and being in the state of mind of, I'm doing something, and understand that that has value. Because there are so many people who aren't doing anything. Hope that helps. Okay, when are you gonna do a Humble by Kendrick Lamar Recompose? I probably won't. I did Loyalty by Kendrick Lamar. I don't see myself doing any more of his tracks because they just don't, they're not different enough from each other to warrant another episode. I hope that makes sense. How do you get away from just locking yourself into making one or very few genres / types of music? I don't really try to do that. I just don't think it's very interesting to do one type of music, so I have to do multiple types. There you go. What is more important when it comes to music production? Motivation or discipline? Discipline, for sure. Because you can force motivation if you have enough discipline. What's one of your favorite verses from Whitey so far? Oh man. It is about financial gain, and it's called The Reality of the Situation. And I wrote it the other night, actually. It's not very old yet. So my favorite verse from Whitey so far is the reality of the situation is the fact that my financial statements do not reflect the efforts of my labor, the time I spend honing my craft, perfecting the beats, the notes and melodies I wrote on paper. That's my favorite verse so far. And you know what? Fuck it. Here it is in context. Cause the reality of the situation is that my financial statements do not reflect the efforts of my labor, the time I spend honing my craft, perfecting the lines, the notes and melodies I wrote on paper. What are the top 5 plugins you think every electronic music producer should have? I'm gonna make an episode on that just for you. I'm not even kidding. I'll make an episode. Top 5 plugins. It's coming out. What's your favorite video you've ever made? Okay, I've made a lot of videos. So there's two ways to look at this. What in my opinion, and the funny part of it is, neither of these are very popular videos. There's either the funniest video, like which video gave me the most joy and happiness to make. I think that would be the recent, really quick review I did on the drawer. It was just a rack drawer, like that's it. Like that's all I was reviewing, was literally a pull out and push back in drawer. And that, my wife and I filmed that, and we laughed so hard while we were filming that it was hard to film it. Like we had to keep cutting and going back into it, and I could barely hold it together. And I had a couple people ask me if I was like on drugs, like, you know, like if I was high or drunk, and well, the answer is no. And so it's like, that right there is evidence that I was so far out of my element and just so joyful and happy that people didn't recognize my behavior. So that could be an answer to that question. The other one that I would say is my favorite video I've ever made is the interview with Whitey McWhiterson, because I used a lot of different techniques to edit that video and make it effective that I'm proud of. So if you haven't seen either of those videos, I'm gonna link those down below. But those are my 2 favorite videos I've ever made. And I know you only asked for one, but I felt like there were 2 proper answers to that. That's gonna be it for me today. I got a lot of new stuff coming soon, so stay tuned. We got a whole bunch of new equipment. I have a lot of things I want to review. I have a lot of interesting videos that aren't related to music that I want to make in the near future, so just stay tuned. I don't like to make the same videos over and over again, like the same types of videos. Like, I mean, every once in a while, yeah, I'm gonna make a Recompose, but I gotta do different stuff every once in a while to keep my brain engaged, just because this grind really gets to you if you just do the same thing over and over again. That's boring. And it's 2018. 2018 is gonna be the year of clickbait titles, so prepare yourself for me to write the most clickbaity, stupid titles. You get ready. There's gonna be some fucking way stupid titles this year, because apparently I need to use clickbait and more clickbait thumbnails. So prepare yourself for clickbait thumbnails and titles. This is gonna be the thing this year. I'm gonna do it all year long, and it's gonna be really funny. So yeah, suck it. I think I'm gonna end the episode right there. Just with me going, suck it.
And that's the reality of the situation. And that's the reality of the situation. And that's the reality of the situation.